Mr. Ahmed was a man many people envied. He was a billionaire with powerful businesses, a large house, and everything money could buy. But inside his big world, Ahmed felt very lonely. His days were filled with meetings, phone calls, and endless work. He rarely smiled, and no one really knew him well. Ahmed's life was full of busy schedules, and he liked to keep everything under control. His home was always quiet, except for one person, Amina, his maid. Amina had worked for Ahmed for many years. She was a simple woman, always polite, quiet, and loyal. She never asked questions or made trouble. She was like a shadow in the large house, always there but never noticed too much. Amina had her own life outside the mansion. She was a hard worker and very honest. She helped her family and tried to live a peaceful life. But in Ahmed's big world, she was only the maid. She cleaned, cooked, and did small chores. No one paid attention to her feelings or dreams. On a cold Thursday afternoon, Ahmed was supposed to be at a business meeting until late in the evening. But something changed. The meeting was canceled suddenly. Without telling anyone, Ahmed decided to go home early. The city streets were busy, but Ahmed did not care. He just wanted to reach his house quickly and be alone for a while. When he entered the mansion, the house was unusually quiet. The lights were dim. It was strange because Amina usually turned on the lights and started preparing dinner at this time. Ahmed called out, "Amina?" There was no answer. He walked slowly through the long halls. The house was cold and empty. Finally, he found her in the small room near the kitchen. Amina was sitting on a chair, her hands shaking, eyes fixed on the floor. She looked very nervous and uncomfortable. Ahmed was surprised. He had never seen Amina like this before. "Amina, are you okay?" he asked softly. She looked up quickly, startled. Her eyes were wide, almost afraid. She tried to smile, but it was weak and forced. "Yes, sir. I'm fine," she said quietly, but Ahmed could hear the hesitation in her voice. Ahmed moved closer. "You don't look fine. Is something wrong?" Amina did not answer. She looked away again, her fingers playing with the edge of her apron. Ahmed noticed her face was pale, and her eyes looked tired and worried. For years, Ahmed had never paid much attention to Amina's feelings. She was just the maid, someone to keep the house clean and do small tasks. But now, seeing her like this, something inside him stirred. "Please, Amina, you can tell me. If something is bothering you, I want to help." She stayed silent for a moment. Then she shook her head slowly. "No, sir. It's nothing important." Ahmed was not convinced. He sat down on a nearby chair, watching her carefully. Just then, Amina's phone buzzed quietly on the table. She jumped and quickly hid it under a cloth. Ahmed's eyes followed her. "Amina, why do you hide your phone? What are you hiding from me?" Amina's face turned red. She looked down again and said nothing. Ahmed's mind started to race. Why was she acting so strange? Was there something she did not want him to see? Or was she scared of him? The silence between them grew heavy. Ahmed wanted to break it, but he did not know how. After a long moment, Amina stood up suddenly. "I should finish my work, sir." She began to move away quickly, but Ahmed stopped her gently. "Wait, Amina. Please don't go, let's talk." But Amina shook her head and walked out of the room fast, leaving Ahmed confused and worried. Ahmed sat back in his chair, staring at the door where she disappeared. He thought about how many years Amina had been with him, always quiet, always in the background. He realized he knew almost nothing about her real life, her feelings, or her dreams. His mind was full of questions. Why was Amina hiding something so deeply? Was it about her family, or something more serious? Ahmed looked at the clock. It was still early, but the house felt colder than usual. He decided to wait and watch. Maybe tonight Amina would tell him the truth. Because deep inside, Ahmed felt a strange feeling he had never felt before. A desire to protect her, to understand her, and maybe to finally break the loneliness that had lived with him for so long. The evening grew darker outside the mansion. The rain started again, soft and slow at first, then heavier. Inside the large house, silence settled like a heavy blanket. Mr. Ahmed sat alone in his study, his thoughts tangled with worries about Amina. He could not forget how she had looked that afternoon, nervous, afraid, hiding her phone like it held a dangerous secret. He felt a strange connection to her, even though she was just his maid. Something about her made him want to know more, to help if he could. Hours passed slowly. Ahmed checked his watch, then stood up and walked toward the kitchen. He found Amina there, quietly washing dishes. She glanced up when she saw him, but quickly looked away again. "Do you want some tea?" Ahmed asked softly. Amina hesitated, but nodded. She wanted to say no, but something in Ahmed's voice made her agree. He poured 2 cups and sat down at the kitchen table. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. The only sound was the rain tapping against the windows. Finally, Ahmed broke the silence. "Amina, I want to help you. If there is something troubling you, please tell me." Amina looked down at her hands. She bit her lip, fighting back tears. Then, in a small voice, she said, "Sir, I have a problem, a big one." Ahmed leaned forward, his eyes full of concern. "You can tell me anything, I promise." Amina took a deep breath and looked directly at him. "It's about my family, my husband. He is very sick. The medicine he needs is expensive, and I cannot afford it." She paused, her voice breaking. "I work here every day, but the money is not enough. Sometimes I have to choose between buying food or paying for his medicine." Ahmed felt a sharp pain in his chest. He had never thought about Amina's life outside the mansion. He had only seen her as the maid, quiet, hard-working, and invisible. "But why didn't you tell me before?" he asked gently. Amina shook her head. "I was afraid. I didn't want to lose my job or bring trouble here. I thought no one would care." Ahmed sat back, feeling ashamed. How could he have been so blind? Here was a loyal woman struggling in silence, and he had never noticed. "Want to help you," Ahmed said firmly. "Starting today, I will make sure your husband gets the medicine he needs. And I will help your family." Amina's eyes widened in surprise. She did not expect this kindness. Tears began to fall slowly down her cheeks. "Thank you, sir. You don't know how much this means to me." Ahmed smiled softly. "You don't have to thank me. You work hard every day. You deserve help." The two sat quietly for a moment, the rain still falling outside. Then Ahmed asked, "Is there anything else?" Amina looked away, thinking carefully. After a pause, she said, "There is one more thing. Something I haven't told anyone." Ahmed waited patiently, encouraging her to continue. Amina's voice grew even softer. "I am pregnant." Ahmed's eyes widened. "Pregnant?" "Yes," she said, placing a hand gently on her stomach. "I was afraid to tell you because I didn't know what you would say, but now you know." Ahmed felt a mix of emotions, surprise, concern, and something warm deep inside. He looked at Amina and realized how much strength she had. Despite her worries, she kept working, taking care of her family and carrying new life inside her. "Thank you for telling me," Ahmed said. "I promise to support you no matter what." Amina smiled through her tears. For the first time, she felt safe. Ahmed thought about the lonely life he lived. Maybe helping Amina was the beginning of something new, a chance to change, to care, to connect. Suddenly, his phone rang. He looked at the screen and saw it was his assistant calling. He stood up and answered quickly. "Sir, there is an urgent meeting tomorrow morning," the assistant said. "But if you want, I can cancel it so you can stay home." Ahmed looked at Amina. "I think I will stay home tomorrow." She nodded, grateful. That night, Ahmed could not sleep. His mind was full of thoughts about Amina, her family, and the secret she had carried for so long. He understood that sometimes, even the richest people needed to learn about real struggles, and sometimes the smallest act of kindness could change many lives. The next morning, the mansion was unusually quiet. Sunlight poured through the tall windows, painting soft gold across the marble floors. But Mr. Ahmed's heart felt heavy. He sat at the breakfast table thinking about Amina, her story, her strength, her secret. He had promised to help her, and he meant it. But deep inside, he had questions. So many questions. Why did she hide her pregnancy for so long, and who was the father? Ahmed knew it wasn't his business. Still, something inside him needed to know more, not to judge her, but to protect her. Suddenly, the butler came in and handed him an old envelope. "Sir," he said, "this was found in the guest room drawer. It's addressed to you. From Amina." Ahmed's brows furrowed. From Amina? He opened the letter slowly. The paper was slightly torn, as if it had been handled many times before. Inside was a short handwritten message. "Dear Mr. Ahmed, I never had the courage to give this to you. Years ago, before I worked here, someone I trusted left me with nothing but pain and a child I never expected. I came to this city to survive, to work, to protect my family, to keep my child safe. I know people like me are supposed to stay quiet. We clean, we serve, we stay invisible. But I want you to know, thank you. You saw me. Even if only for a moment, you truly saw me. And that means more than you'll ever know. Amina." Ahmed read the letter twice. He leaned back in his chair, stunned. Amina had been carrying not just a child, but years of pain, silence, and secrets. She had been alone for too long, and now she trusted him, enough to finally leave this message. Suddenly, a loud knock came from the front door. The butler rushed to answer it. Two men in suits stepped inside. Their faces were serious, eyes scanning the room. "We're here to speak with Miss Amina," one of them said. "It's urgent." Ahmed stood up quickly. "Why? Who are you?" The man flashed a badge. "Social Services. We received an anonymous report." Ahmed's heart dropped. "What kind of report?" The man looked uncomfortable. "It was said she's living under unsafe conditions, that her unborn child is in danger." Ahmed's voice rose. "That's not true. She lives here. She's safe." The second officer said calmly, "We still have to talk to her. Can you call her, please?" Ahmed called Amina's name loudly through the hallways, but there was no answer. He walked quickly to her room, but the door was wide open and the room was empty. Her clothes, her small bag, all gone. Panic rose in Ahmed's chest. "She's gone." The officers looked at each other. "Did she know we were coming?" "No," Ahmed said, eyes wide. "She didn't." Then one officer asked, "Do you think she ran away, or was she running from someone else?" Ahmed froze. A new fear entered his mind. Had someone threatened Amina? Was the man from her past, the one she trusted, back? Mr. Ahmed couldn't sleep. The mansion felt cold, quiet, and empty without Amina. Every time he passed the kitchen or walked through the halls, he expected to see her, smiling softly, working quietly. But now, her presence was gone. And worse, she hadn't left a note this time, just disappeared. Ahmed replayed the visit from the social services officers in his head again and again. Unsafe conditions, anonymous report. He knew Amina had run because she was scared. But who made her feel that fear? He pulled out his phone and made a call. "Detective Zahir," he said. "I need your help. It's personal." Scene. The private investigation detective. Zahir was an old friend, a quiet man with sharp eyes and strong instincts. He arrived at the mansion within the hour, wearing a dark coat and holding a notepad. "Tell me everything," Zahir said. Ahmed shared the story, the letter, the officer's Amina's disappearance. Zahir listened closely. When Ahmed finished, the detective leaned back and said, "Someone wanted her gone. And they knew when the officers were coming." Ahmed's fists tightened. "You think she was being watched?" "Maybe," Zahir said. "Maybe even by someone inside your own staff." Scene. Clues in the past. Zahir asked to search Amina's room. Together they looked through her old drawers, under the bed, inside the closet. Finally, in a small makeup bag, Zahir found something. An old phone with a cracked screen. No SIM card, he said. But let's see what we can recover. With help from a tech expert, they unlocked the phone. There were only a few messages left. Most were harmless. But one text stood out. A threatening message from an unknown number. You should have stayed hidden. You think rich people will save you? You'll regret this. Ahmed read the message out loud, heart racing. This is him, the man from her past. Zahir nodded. Someone dangerous. Someone who doesn't want her protected. Ahmed stood up. Then we'll find him, and we'll find her first. Scene. A familiar place, Zahir asked Ahmed. Do you know where Amina used to go before she worked here? Ahmed thought hard. She once told me about an old tea shop near the bus station. She liked the owner, said it reminded her of home. They drove there the same night. Rain started falling again, tapping on the car roof like quiet warnings. Inside, the tea shop, a kind older woman named Amma greeted them. Her eyes lit up when she heard Amina's name. Yes, Amma said softly. She came here yesterday. She was crying. I gave her tea and a dry shawl. But she left before I could ask more. Ahmed felt both relief and fear. Did she say where she was going? Amma thought hard. She mentioned something about her brother, said she had to warn him. Something about danger. Ahmed turned to Zahir. I didn't even know she had a brother. Zahir frowned. We need to find out who he is, fast. The rain kept falling as Mr. Ahmed and Detective Zahir drove through the older part of the city. Zahir was quiet, reading files on his tablet. Amina's records show she had a younger brother. His name is Haris, 20 years old, no fixed address, in and out of shelters. Ahmed looked out the window. Why didn't she ever tell me? Zahir replied. Maybe she was protecting him, or maybe she was afraid that if people knew, danger would come closer. Ahmed's jaw tightened. We need to find him. Before that man does. Scene, a harsh discovery. They searched for Harris at 3 shelters that night. The first had no record. The second had heard of him, but said he hadn't been seen in 2 weeks. At the 3rd shelter, a tall woman behind the desk finally nodded. Yes, Harris was here. He left 2 days ago, said he got a message from his sister, looked nervous. Ahmed leaned forward. Did he say where he was going? She shook her head. But he left this behind. She handed over a torn notebook page. It read, Amina, meet at the old flat. I'll wait 2 days. Then I run. Zahir looked at Ahmed. Do you know the address? Ahmed nodded slowly. Yes, that's where I first met her. Before she worked for me, she lived in a tiny flat on the east side. Scene, the empty apartment. They drove through narrow streets until they reached a rundown building. The windows were broken and the walls were cracked. Inside, the old flat was dark. Dust covered the floor. The air smelled like damp wood. Looks empty, Zahir said, sweeping the flashlight. Ahmed walked around slowly, feeling the weight of the past. Then he noticed something, a blanket, a cracked bowl, footprints. Someone was here, he said. Recently. Suddenly, Zahir raised his hand. Listen. They froze. From the hallway, a quiet cry echoed, then a soft voice. Please, leave us alone. They rushed out. Seen. Amina found. Behind a door at the end of the hall, they found her. Amina was crouched beside a broken mattress holding her brother, Haris, who looked weak and pale. She stood up fast when she saw Ahmed, frightened. Why are you here? Ahmed didn't move closer. To protect you. Zahir slowly stepped in. We know about the man threatening you. We read the messages. We're here to help. Haris looked up with tired eyes. He found us once before. Amina kept moving to keep me safe. Amina's voice trembled. He's not just after me anymore. He wants to destroy everything around me. Even you, sir. Ahmed shook his head firmly. Not this time. Zahir shut the curtain quickly. Mr. Ahmed grabbed Amina's hand gently. We don't have time. We have to leave, now. But Amina stood frozen. He's always one step ahead. Every time I think we're safe, he finds us again. Ahmed spoke firmly. Not this time. You're not alone anymore. Zahir scanned the hallway. We'll use the back stairs. Quiet. Fast. Haris tried to stand but winced in pain. Ahmed stepped forward. I'll carry him. He lifted Haris into his arms without hesitation. They moved quietly through the dark hallway, every creak of the floor sounding louder than it should, down the old back stairwell, through a rusted metal door, into the alley. Zahir peeked around the corner. The black car is still in front, he said. But I called for backup. If we can make it 3 streets down, there's a safe house waiting. Ahmed looked at Amina. Trust me, just a few more minutes. She nodded. Scene. The alley chase. They stepped into the rain-soaked alley. Suddenly a voice shouted, There they are. Amina gasped. 3 men in dark coats ran toward them. Run! Zahir yelled. They dashed through the alley, feet splashing in puddles, heartbeats racing. Ahmed held Haris tight, not slowing down. The men behind chased fast when one even reached for something in his coat. Zahir turned and pulled out a small smoke grenade from his jacket. Cover your eyes. He threw it down. Smoke filled the alley. Coughing, they slipped away into a narrow side path. Scene. The safe house. 10 minutes later, they reached a quiet old house. A metal door opened for them. Inside, 2 agents from Zahir's team greeted them. They quickly helped Haris to a bed and checked his condition. Amina stood shaking. Ahmed placed a hand on her shoulder. You're safe now. Tears finally flowed down her face. I've been running for so long. I never wanted to lie, but I had to protect him. Ahmed nodded. I understand. I would have done the same. Zahir entered the room. The men outside are gone, but we traced the call. Amina's eyes widened. You found him? Zahir nodded. Not just him, we found something bigger. Scene. The truth comes out. Zahir showed them a tablet screen. A man's face appeared. It was Amina's old boss, the one who had threatened her and Haris. Zahir explained, he's been involved in illegal trafficking, extortion, and blackmail. He used your brother's past as leverage. Ahmed stared at the screen, and he was connected to our company's past partners. Zahir nodded. That's how he kept track of you, through hidden accounts and old contacts, Amina whispered, so it was never random. He always had eyes inside the company. Ahmed clenched his fists. No more, I'm cutting every tie, we're going to bring him down. Zahir's voice was sharp. There's someone inside your mansion, Mr. Ahmed, right now. Amina's face turned pale. Who? Who would betray us? Ahmed didn't speak. His mind raced. Who had he trusted? Who had access? Zahir tapped his earpiece. Team 2, move into the house, secure every floor. Ahmed paced the room. If he's right, then Haris was never the only target. He wants to destroy me too. Amina stood beside him. He wants revenge, for something I don't even understand. Zahir replied, It's not just revenge, it's control. You refused to obey Amina. Now he wants to take everything. Suddenly, Zahir's phone buzzed. He answered, listened carefully, and turned to Ahmed. They found someone. Your chief, accountant, Mr. Kaleem. He was sending location data and files for months. Ahmed clenched his jaw. Kaleem? I trusted him for 10 years. Zahir added. He was paid well, but there's more. The man who threatened Amina, he's coming here. Tonight. Scene. The trap. Let him come, Ahmed said. We end this tonight. Zahir raised an eyebrow. You want to trap him? Ahmed nodded. He thinks we're scared. Let's prove him wrong. The team prepared fast. Hidden cameras, secured exits, agents in position. Amina stood holding Haris's hand. Her eyes still carried fear, but also strength. Zahir turned to her. Are you ready? She nodded. I've been running for too long. It ends now. Scene. The face-off late that night, the door creaked open. A tall man in a dark coat walked in confidently. He was clean-cut, cold-eyed, the man who had once terrified Amina. He saw Ahmed standing alone in the middle of the room. Where's the girl? He asked. Ahmed didn't flinch. She's safe. The man laughed. Do you think this changes anything? She was nothing, just a maid. You'll lose everything for her. Ahmed replied slowly. She's not just anything. She's brave, loyal, and more human than you'll ever be. Amina stepped into the light beside him. I'm not scared anymore, she said. You can't control me now. The man's eyes darkened. Then I'll take the boy. Zahir's voice echoed behind him. No, you won't. Agents surrounded the man. He tried to run, but the front door slammed shut. Handcuffs clicked. He was done. Scene. A new beginning. Weeks later, the mansion was peaceful again. Kaleem had been arrested. The man behind Amina's pain was in prison, facing serious charges. Ahmed made changes. He cleaned out corruption from the company, replacing it with honest people. Zahir became head of security full-time, and Amina, she no longer wore a maid's uniform. She sat beside Ahmed at company events, no longer hidden in the background. She worked as a consultant for employee safety and wellness. And Haris? He got better. He even started school, smiling again for the first time in years.